Welcome back to Pre-Algebra, Chapter 9, Section 2. In this book, we've been talking about things being squared and square rooted, which I'm sure that's a word. And now we're going to talk about simplifying square roots. So here's an example of just a couple of things before we talk about what is a simplified square root. Okay, first of all, if you have the square root of 4 times the square root of 16, you could do the square root of 4, which is 2 times 2, 1 gets out, 1 dies. Square root of 16, 4 times 4, 1 dies, 1 gets out. 2 times 4 is 8. And then also, 64 is made out of 8 times 8. 1 dies, 1 gets out of jail. So, it doesn't matter if you multiply them first then do it, or if you do it first then multiply. Now, if you didn't watch the beginning tape, you won't know what I'm talking about with numbers dying and getting out of jail. Just a little recap. The radical sign is Arkham Asylum for the criminally insane from Batman. The way to get out of Arkham is to have a twin, like Mas Minos, and you kill your twin. I know it's violent, but it is the home of the criminally insane. You dissolve their body in acid, you get in the body bag, zip it up, and play dead. Once they take you out, you unzip and scamper away. So, the only way to get out of this radical situation is to have a twin. Later on, we'll talk about other situations, but we're just doing square roots, no other kind of roots. Later on, you're going to learn about other roots. Ooh, even fractional roots kind of things. All right, so now, you know how like with fractions you have to reduce them for them to be simplified? Well, there are some rules about simplifying radicals, and this is what it is. Everybody who can gets out of Arkham. So anything that can get out of the radical gets out. And then the second rule is you're not supposed to have radical signs in the denominator if it's a fraction. But see how I said sort of? That is actually a math etiquette rule. And like a lot of etiquette rules, it's not really followed anymore. It is in high school, and it is in middle school, but I have all of my kids are in college right now as STEM majors, and they're taking all these college level maths, and that's the way the British say it, maths. I like it instead of saying math classes. And so he said that all of them are saying that in college they don't care anymore, and that their college is not following this rule anymore. So high school's a little slower to catch up, but in college it's fine to have the radical in the denominator. So if I'm grading your test, I'll count it correct. If you don't follow this rule, you're just being progressive ahead of your time and tossing it out a little bit early like a college kid. So I'm fine with it. But your book and all of the books that I teach out of continue to follow this rule. So if you look in the back of the book to check your answer and it's wrong and you've got a radical in the denominator, that's why. And in Algebra 1, if not this class, I'm going to show you how to get rid of the radical in the denominator. All they told you now is you're not supposed to have one. Alright, so here's one. Let's do it. 180, we're going to make this factor tree, and that is, it ends in 0, so I know 2 goes into it. It's 2 times 90. 90 is 10 times 9. 10 is 2 times 5. 9 is 3 times 3. These are prime numbers, so I know I've gotten to the end, the end of the branches of my factor trees. And now I'm going to look for the twins and see who gets out. This 2 has a twin right here. That one dies, this one gets out. This 3 has a twin. So this one's going to get out, this one dies. So on the outside I have 2, and remember you multiply them back together, so they're on the outside. So I have 2 times 3, which is 6, but this 5 is still in jail. So I do this. I mark them out if they get dissolved in acid. I circle them if they're in the body bag and they get out. But if they're still in jail, I put them back in jail and I draw the jail bars around them. So I know that my answer is 6 times the square root of 5. 5 still in jail, 2 and 3 got out in their body bags, but then got multiplied back together. And then either they'll have that as the answer, or remember, sometimes they want plus or minus. And I don't remember what they have this time. Did they do plus or minus? Let's look. No. See, I told you they're arbitrary. Sometimes they want the plus or minus, sometimes they don't. You just have to look and see if they want it or not. They're going to want it when you get to quadratic equations. But really, before that, you don't really need it that much. All right. What about if there's letters? Well, isn't that x made out of x times x? Isn't that twins? So we know that an x is, one's going to get out of jail and the other one's going to get dissolved in acid. One x is out of there. Now let's do the 24. 24, we can say 2 times 12, which is 3 times 4, which is 2 times 2. So, of my twins, I have 1, 2 get out, 1 get dissolved in acid, but this 2 and this 3 stay in jail and get multiplied back together again. So a 2 gets out and a 6 is still in jail. Okay? So that's what you do with the letters. You look for the twins again. But you don't have to draw the factor tree, you just say if there's 2 of them, 1 gets out. Okay, here's 100 over 4. Now we could do this 2 ways. We could go ahead and say 100 divided by 4 is 25, and 25 is made out of the twins 5 times 5. 1 gets out, 1 gets dissolved in acid, so it is 5 or plus or minus 5. You can also do it this way. The square root of 100 is 10. The square root of 4 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. It works both ways, so, you know. And how about this one? You've got a square root of 11, a square root of 4. That's the same thing as the square root of 11 over the square root of 4. 11 is prime. It stays in jail. But 4 has twins, 2 and 2. 1 gets out, 1 gets dissolved. So this is the square root of 11 over 2. It follows our rule that there's no radicals in the denominator. Everything that's supposed to be out of Arkham Asylum is out. So that's so you can see how you can either do the top and bottom together, or you can do them separate. It's allowed. Okay, 63. 63 is 9 times 7. 9 is 3 times 3. So 1 3 gets out, 1 dissolves, 7 stays in jail. So my answer is 3 times the square root of 7. This one, 54. 54 is 6 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. 6 is 2 times 3. So that's not going to work. 1 3 gets out, 1 gets dissolved. This 6, this 2 times 3, is going to stay in jail. I went ahead and put them back together again. 1x gets out. The y stays in jail. Another x got dissolved. So my answer is, on the outside I've got 3 and an x. On the inside I have 6 and a y. Now if that was too hard for you, don't worry about it. That's really an Algebra 1 skill. But I think you can probably understand it if you just remember Batman and the Arkham Asylum for the criminally insane. Alright, come back and we'll learn some more Chapter 9. Math is great.